First of all, let me just start off by apologising in advance because I am super busy at the moment with work and life and everything, so I cannot really vlog how I usually do. So instead, I'm kind of still keeping up to date with the gym stuff. However, I think it's just going to be gym footage for the next couple of weeks or so, or at least a couple of episodes. So gym footage with just me doing a voiceover, explaining what I'm doing there and how I plan on getting better. So, without further ado, let's get started. So, back again with the deadlift series. I'm on the road to 200, trying to hit myself a nice 200 kilo PR, because it's something I've never done before. The most I've ever done is 195 kilos, and I'm hoping to beat that this time. This episode I'm talking about, obviously deadlifts, but how I plan on improving them, because the deadlift is only one portion, one part of the whole story. I am adding in some accessories, some specific accessories this week to actually help me on my way to getting stronger. However, this week is only the second week of the programming, and I'm starting off with deadlifts because obviously I'm starting off with the main movement, the big compound movement, before I actually move on to my accessories, which are going to help that main movement. And this week I am working at 125 kilos. If you've been following along with this program, I have basically said that I'm going to be starting at 120 kilos, which was last week's weight, and then each week I'm going to be increasing the weight by 5 kilos. Which means that by the end of the 12 weeks, that 120 kilos by 3 sets of 3 is going to end up at 180 kilos for hopefully 3 sets of 3. Although I'm not sure that will happen because honestly, I've never even lifted 180 for 1 set of 3, never mind 3 sets of 3. Although I wouldn't complain too much if it actually did happen because, well, progress is progress. Anyway, back to the deadlifts. This cycle, I have decided that I'm going to try and warm up a little bit slower. Obviously, especially at the start of this program because, well, the weights are kind of light, and usually the way I'd warm up would be 1 plate, 2 plate, 3 plate, and then start my working weights. Where I've gone past my working weights if I do that. So I'm doing 1 plate for a couple of sets, 2 plates for a couple of sets, and then going up in smaller increments until I get to my actual working weight. Seeing as though the weights are actually pretty light at the moment, I can kind of take my time with them, think about what I'm actually doing, and use the correct muscles to actually move the weights, as opposed to in the past where I've kind of gone a little bit heavier than I should, and I'm trying to just jerk the bar off the floor and then put as much force into it as possible, and kind of my form's breaking down. So I've basically took this massive step back so that I can work on form, help improve that, and then in turn, if I improve my form, I should improve my strength overall and hopefully hit a PR at the end of this cycle. Because I did my first rep and I was like just standing there going, am I going to get this? So what do you do with the cardio? Anyway, here's my first set of the day. I'll probably just leave my working sets in here raw so you can watch them, see what I'm doing, and then see how good or bad my actual form is at the moment, and then I'll talk about it later on. As you saw on that first set, it moves pretty easily. I'm trying to control the weights both up and down because the eccentric is obviously kind of as important as the concentric, if not more important, for building muscle. However, there is something I'm noticing at the moment, and it's like my current form looks safe, got a nice flat back. However, I think my hips are slightly too low because when I start to pull the weight off the floor, my hips shoot up slightly before the weight moves. So that may be something I have to look at changing in the near future. So yeah, remember guys that a deadlift is a deadlift and not a squat, so your hips are supposed to be slightly higher than a squat would be anyway, so you're not trying to get your hips to like parallel, you're trying to get them slightly up higher so you can involve your hamstrings and glutes and your whole posterior chain a lot more than your quads. Working in with Simon this week, just throwing in a set of his because I don't want it to make it look like he's just doing nothing with me. So here's Simon working up to, I think it was a set of 3 at 150 kilos or so. Simon's deadlift form is very different to mine. He has a lot more of a wider grip and His hips are a lot lower than mine. I believe he does that because it just feels more comfortable to him, and also the wide grip helps him keep a lot more of a tight upper back, which is something you're looking for during a deadlift because it keeps it safe and stops it excessively rounding over. And that pretty much covers the deadlift portion. Now we're going on to the accessories, which is actually what I wanted to talk to you about, because that's kind of as important as the main move, if not more important at this stage of my program. So starting off with, I am basically doing these 45-degree back extensions. If you know who Pete Rubish is, and if you don't, go Google him. But he does these all the time to help his deadlifts. They're a great exercise for working your posterior chain, but especially your hamstrings. And also, as a bonus, if you do this double overhand, it helps to work on your grip, which is also quite important for your deadlift. Hamstrings are something I neglected last cycle, so it's something that I need to work on more, hence why I'm doing this. Starting off kind of light though, doing sets of 5 with 80 kilos, and I'm hoping to increase that over this cycle to maybe sets of 5 with 100 by the end of it. Who knows? Alongside the hamstring work, I am trying to do some upper back work, some lat work basically, try and get a strong back to help me pull that weight into me, because obviously when you're deadlifting, the further away the weight gets from you, the heavier it feels. Basically, you don't want to create a moment arm between the bar and you, because obviously every inch away from you it gets just adds pounds and pounds, and that's just going to add weight to the bar, technically, so you'll be harder to actually lift the weight. Honestly, for this next exercise, I don't really do this on this day usually, but Simon suggested we do it, and I was more than happy to do it because it's an extra back exercise, and you can't have too strong a back, let's be honest. If you've got a strong back, you've got a strong everything. Strong squat, bench and deadlift. So yeah, we did some seated rows on this day, but I usually save this exercise for my accessory days as opposed to after my deadlifts. Here's something new that I'll be doing this cycle. It's basically a lot of quad work. In the past have basically thought squats will build my quads, that'll do. I am so wrong. It does not. I low bar squat, and so it ends up being a lot of posterior chain, which is hamstrings, glutes and back again, and I've kind of neglected actually hitting my quads. So this cycle I'm putting in a lot more specific quad work, more specifically this exercise to start with at least. I'm doing walking lunges, which absolutely suck. They're a great exercise, good for actually individually hitting your quads, but they are really hard to do and really painful. Anyway, to finish off this week's exercise, I suggested we do some broceps, some biceps, build some guns, curls for the girls, that kind of thing. So we finished off with some biceps just to fluff and stuff, basically. Not something I usually do, but who doesn't want big arms? Over the coming weeks, this program may change a bit, but I'll keep you updated with what I'm doing and how I'm improving. So keep checking back and enjoy this Road to 200 series. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you all next time. Peace!